This is the Tom Barnard Podcast. Listen live weekday mornings, 8 to 9:30, or anytime you like as a podcast on the Tom Barnard app at tombarnardshow.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
You damn right. Hey, listen to her. That's Amy Dan. What's her title, actually? The head of programming? Is that what she is?
Yeah, boss lady in charge.
Boss lady in charge.
Big
I like it. I like that a lot. The boss lady in charge works. So then what would Dan's title be? The God of all gods? What is it?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Is that about right? That's everything?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we just slogging through life, ladies and gentlemen, trying to get through. That's all I'm saying. We're going to get to our sports report in about 5 minutes, and there's a lot to talk about. So I just one thing I do want to mention, because the guys at the main office said the same thing, that I've been getting some messages that people really like the new show. They like the length of it. We're going to start promoting the show pretty heavily, which is going to help. But yeah, thank you for your kind words that you like the new format, because we don't talk. You talk about half as long, which is a good thing when we shut up. Is that what you're saying?
Right, yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm taking away from it. They said, now that you shut up for an hour and a half, we really like the show.
Right. Like, they can't wait for it to go to like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
5 minutes. Yeah, the 5-minute show. That'd work beautifully. There's no question about it. Anything of great I got to talk to now. Timmy Lammers is on. When's he on again? He's Tuesdays and Fridays, or just Fridays, or when is it?
I think he'll join you for the family hour on Tuesdays, but he'll
that's what it
Fridays.
is. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
I got to tell you, though, and this somehow, I want to run by a couple of different people. Like Sandy, I'll run it by him, too, because he is on today. But Catherine and I have been watching this Griselda with Sofia Vergara.
Vergara,
Yeah.
Holy God, is that show good. You better like violence, though, if you're going to watch it, because it's a true story about the Medellin cartel. And this woman basically is threatened, so she moves to America, moves to Miami, and starts a drug business, cocaine distribution business, which made me think of the old days of the square grouper. You guys ever heard about the square grouper?
No, I don't know what that is.
No.
If you think about it, you'd know what it is.
Square.
Okay, all these drugs coming out of South America, Central America, all that stuff coming into the United States through Florida. Whenever and it did happen, I guess, because they tried to get across in small boats at first, and the ocean would get too rocky, so it would discharge some of their cargo. I guess bales of cocaine used to wash up on the shores of Miami. Like, Jesus. And they called it square groupers. That's what they started calling it. It's a fish. It's about a 5-pound or 50-pound bale of cocaine, but can you even imagine finding that? I don't know if I could go near that, just so they wouldn't think it was mine.
No. Well, there was a documentary on a guy and his son that found like some cocaine that had washed up on the beach in like Miami or Florida.
Sure.
And yeah, they tried to sell it and make some money.
Oh.
It didn't go too well for them, but yeah. So
Officers, I swear, I got it out of the ocean.
found it. Yeah.
That's a square grouper from the ocean. That's all I know. I've only done cocaine once in my life. Never got it just really did nothing. I did acid once when I was a teenager. That did nothing. And then I did cocaine once, and I went, I'm jacked up enough the way it is. You think I really need to do cocaine to get more jacked up? Or does cocaine make you laid back?
Oh, no, definitely not. I think
It
cocaine
jacks
is
you
known
up.
for, getting you out your mind.
You'll know if I ever do cocaine, because the show will start with, "What are you guys up to, man?" Get all loud, start screaming, yelling, be magnificent business. There's no question about that. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Guys going to see some 50s later on this week. It's still no snow, right?
No, I'm pretty much giving up on the idea of snow this year. So
Right.
we'll try again next year.
Yeah, we had that one weekend where it was like with the wind chill, maybe like -10 or something like that. I just wanted to stay inside all week. I had a buddy that was like, "Hey, let's go out, play a little pond hockey. We'll go to one of the local rinks and skate." I was like, no, Joe, I can't. It's way too cold. We'll go next weekend. Next weekend it's 32 and everything's melting. So
There you go. We'll take a break. Be right back in a couple of seconds, ladies and gentlemen. Phil Mackey will join us from SKOR North. You know the song Kokomo, it's supposed to be off the Florida Keys, right? Well, I hate to break your Beach Boys bubble, but that is a fictitious place that they made up for the song. Fortunately, for the rest of us, The Florida Keys Island chain are as real as the taxes you have to pay in Minnesota if you're a resident. Now, that is a reason to move south. In addition to Florida and all of Monroe County being beautiful, the Keys from Key Largo to Key West are even more beautiful. This is Tom Barnard, part-time Florida resident myself. And if you want to become a second house owner, you want a second house or a new retirement home, or you want to become a Floridian, may I suggest you contact Matt Carlson from One Key West Realty. Oh, Jude's barking in the background. That's great. A little addition to the spot. Matt grew up in Litchfield. He's a super real estate agent. When it comes to finding your tropical island space in the Keys, he lives there and here. And Matt knows what's best in Key West to buy for your second home in Florida. Matt teamed up with fellow Minnesotan from Sartell and Alexandria, Kristen Eklund, the best. She's one of the top mortgage brokers in the country from Coast to Coast Mortgage. She'll get you the financing you need to buy a home in Florida or in Minnesota. Highly recommend it. It is fantastic. Matt's part of the Lake Sotheby's International Realty Group here in Minnesota, and Kristen, his mortgage colleague, lives and works in the Keys, so they both know the Florida Keys' new and existing homes for sale and are Minnesotan through and through. Contact them by heading to onekeywest.com. That is onekeywest.com.
Is that text you're sending so important that you missed your turn? Is that text you're sending so important that you ran the red light? Is that text you're sending so important you didn't see the ball coming onto the road or the child that followed? Hi, I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw and Bryant. When you take your eyes off the road for even 4 seconds, your vehicle travels 100 yards. That's the entire length of a football field. If you absolutely have to text, you need to pull off the road somewhere safe and do it from there. Texting and driving is against the law and can cause serious injury or even death to you and others. Now that is important. We hope you're never injured in a collision, but if you are, please contact us.
Find Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury attorneys at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
Going farther with Mike Bryant on your side, seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw and Bryant.
Hey, it's a new year, and why not treat yourself to a new gun from K&L Surplus and Ammo? I personally know Jim, the owner. He's been in the firearms business for over 15 years, knows how to set you up with the perfect firearm for your needs. K&L offers one of the widest selections of firearms in the region, including Beretta shotguns and Tikka rifles. High school trap teams are starting to form now, and K&L has a great selection of SKB shotguns. K&L has Tikka and SKB in both right and left-hand models. K&L also has a broad range of ammunition, including both American and European calibers. If you have a collection of guns that you'd like to maybe sell, call Jim at K&L so he can help you get the best price through his network. K&L Surplus and Ammo is on Lake Drive in Lina Lakes, open Tuesday through Saturday. You can also visit them online at www.klgunstore.com.
You're listening to the Tom Barnard Podcast.
Oh, that long lead in again, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so now we can basically, I held back Mr. Mackey. Phil Mackey's with us from SKOR North. We held back. We don't talk about sports in the first 8 minutes of the show because we had a sports segment right here. And there's a lot to talk about because, well, let me start with this. We'll start with a lighter moment.
Okay.
Because a couple of times last week, because I can't adjust to the fact that the Chargers are now in Los Angeles. I keep calling them the San Diego Chargers, right?
Yeah.
I
do that
twice.
too.
Yeah. Well, one of the news guys on a national news channel, Fox, this morning said, I'm going to tell you who I think's going to win. It's the tall blonde guy with the glasses. He's a complete idiot.
There's a lot of those guys on national news channels.
Oh, you got that on all of them. Well, OAN News is not as bad, but CNN and Fox are just unwatchable. And here's one of the reasons why. Ladies and gentlemen, don't even look at your stats, your stat sheets. I got this figured out. Just follow my lead. I guarantee you the Super Bowl winner is going to be the Kansas City Chargers.
No. The Kansas City Chargers?
He said the Kansas City Chargers. And we're supposed to follow his lead into who's going to win the Super Bowl.
Now, is he talking about this year? Or is he because if it's for next year, I suppose we still could see. Maybe he knows something we don't. Maybe the Chargers are out. There's going to be 2 teams in Kansas City next year.
Could be two teams in Kansas City. I will say this. I followed you guys' lead. And then I'll sit back and shut up and listen because I I'm telling you, the Kansas City team's damn good again. Got a good coach, got a great quarterback. I was not impressed with Lamar Jackson yesterday at all. I watched the game. I don't know what to tell you. I just, boy, these games, they're good teams. There's no question, a lot of talent. There's tons of talent out there, but sometimes it just does not click, and nothing went right yesterday for Baltimore.
There's a lot to unpack here across both the games, but so Baltimore, this is where I don't understand. Like, you've got presumably some of the smartest people in the world when it comes to American football, right? You've got the brightest coaches, you've got the best players, and Baltimore spent an entire week game planning against the Kansas City Chiefs. Baltimore has the best running offense in the NFL, and they decided it would be a good game plan for 3 hours on the doorstep of the Super Bowl to run the ball 6 times with their running backs, and that's it. They also have the best running quarterback in the history of the NFL, and they said, let's drop back on 82% of the plays and see if he can dissect the Chiefs' defense. Like, what are they doing? Run the ball.
I couldn't believe the way they called. That was a very well. That's Harbaugh's brother, right? It's what is it?
Yeah, John Harbaugh.
John Harbaugh. There you go. But it just made what they were trying to do made no sense. It was like Lamar Jackson wasn't even in the game.
Yeah, it was, and he is a decent passer, but it's all off of. Now we're getting into the wonky football weeds here. It's all the threat of the Ravens running the ball for 200 yards on you. That's the reason why they were in this position to begin with, right? That's the reason why they had the best record in the NFL. So it's like these coaches, they have too much time on their hand. They're like working 21 hours a day.
Yeah.
And I get it. They're probably sitting there thinking, you know what? The Chiefs are going to expect us to run the ball. So what if we don't? Okay, well, congratulations. You scored, 7 points or whatever it was. And you're watching the Super Bowl from home with the rest of us.
Yeah, no question. But, hey, well, I'll tell you what. I could follow all of the way back to my teen years and the early 20s, late 20s of my life when it's like, we've got Chuck Foreman. Let's have Brent McClanahan run the ball.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I legitimately think coaches, they outsmart themselves with too much time. We've got a week. They're nervous because they're human. There's pressure. Like the Chiefs came in. This is the best part for the Chiefs. Despite the fact that the Chiefs are in the middle of this dynasty run of they've gone to multiple Super Bowls. It's year 6 of Patrick Mahomes, and all 6 years they've been to the AFC Championship game. People really weren't putting pressure on the Chiefs because this is kind of a down year for them. Right. They're kind of in transition mode with their roster. Their offense is not as good as it used to be, so it was kind of house money for the Chiefs. So the Ravens felt all this pressure, and then on the other side in the NFC game. I think what we found out is most coaches are still idiots when it comes to game and clock management. And as great of a job as Dan Campbell did bringing an irrelevant Lions franchise further than they've been in any of our lifetimes, right? Mm-hmm. You've got a minute to go, all 3 timeouts. You're down by 10 points on the 1-yard line. You have to score twice. But if you burn a timeout, you can't get the ball back anymore unless you get the miracle onside kick. And he decides to hand the ball off at the 1-yard line. They get tackled, calls a timeout, and it's like, guy, okay, when you call a timeout there, you aren't getting the ball back.
Right.
So you're literally killing your team's chances to win in that moment because you panicked and freaked out. It was a bad play call. But even if you're going to run the ball, just get up, line up, burn 20 seconds. But some of these, I don't know. They sit around all week and they crunch film. And they get in their own heads. But I would say it's credit to the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes because, my God, one of the great runs we've seen in NFL history. Yep. And credit to San Francisco because Brock Purdy was the last pick in the NFL draft 2 years ago, and he has now helped to carry this team to the Super Bowl.
Right.
Much like Tom Brady did 20 years ago as a 6th-round pick with the Patriots. So a couple fun stories on the positive side too.
Well, I watched a lot of that. I didn't get a chance to watch the second game because we had I had to go out to dinner with some people, so I didn't get a chance to watch the Lions game. They lost by 3 points, which, like I said, what you just described, I understand why they would lose by 3 points.
They had a 17-point lead at halftime, by the way.
Yeah, that's right.
17-point lead.
It was Well, you know what? I guess if you're a Lions fan, you look at it and go, well, hopefully we learn something and maybe next year, right?
And you know what it is? The Lions fans have dealt with a lot of football pain in their lives, but it's mostly the pain of like only winning 3 games in the regular season. It's the pain of the franchise being irrelevant, nowhere near the playoffs. Last night was Vikings pain. Yeah. Last night was like Vikings level pain is you're on the doorstep of the Super Bowl and something goes wrong.
Yep.
And the Lions got to experience that for the first time. Have fun with that the next couple weeks.
That was very much so like the Vikings post-miracle up at Philly. Looks like we're just going to just run all over the place and easily win and then have a collapse. That's what that Lions loss was. And so, welcome to fandom of a team that is just almost good enough.
Yeah. It was a little bit like the 98 game too, because the Vikings had a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter of the 1998 championship game.
Yep.
And then they just kind of clammed up. They started making mistakes, and that's exactly what happened. The Lions were dropping passes. You could tell they were nervous. And then Dan Campbell, there's a lot of debate about this. He loves to go for it on 4th down, but they had a couple shots where it was like if they just kick a field goal, they could go up by 3 scores here. If they kick a field goal, they could tie the game here and just kind of get the momentum back. That dude is all gas, no brakes, and it's a big part of the reason why the Lions were playing in that game. But I don't know, maybe a downshift once in a while wouldn't hurt you in some of these games.
No, that does make sense, and I mean, people should learn that in life. You go at it as hard as you can, but once in a while you got to dial it back, and that's how you should live your life, not just go, 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 go. Look what it does to people.
Look what it did to the Lions. Exactly.
Yeah, look what it did to the Lions. I don't know. They're a pretty damn good team, that coach was very impressive. There's no. Do you get the? I don't know him. Never obviously met the guy or whatever. He looks to me like the kind of a guy that you probably wouldn't want to piss off.
No. In fact, if you ranked all 32 coaches, let's say we had 32 NFL coaches, and we were going to have like mixed martial arts, or we just did like a Hunger Games, like a fight to the death. He'd be your first round pick, right? Your first overall pick.
Oh, absolutely. I can't even name another coach that would potentially challenge him for the number 1 spot.
I mean, Andy Reid's a pretty big guy, but he's old.
Right.
He'd be tough to take down.
Maybe Vrabel.
Mike Vrabel's a pretty, but he's technically fired now, so he would.
So he's in the free agency. What district's picking him up?
Yeah.
I don't know. It was interesting to watch. Obviously, the supreme talent that these professional athletes have is something to watch anyway. You're not ever going to waste your time by sitting down watching a professional athletic event, because there's always at least a couple of people involved that are just fantastic. And to watch talent like that, people doing. Remember when the quarterback for Kansas City,
Mahomes?
your pal Pat Mahomes, he was down, and somehow, I don't know, he was almost down, I should say.
Yeah.
And somehow he twisted his body while being pulled to the ground. And I was like, how the hell did you do that?
It's amazing. There was also, I think it was like 3 years ago when the Chiefs were playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Tom Brady's Buccaneers in the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. And the Chiefs lost that game. Their offensive line, they had a bunch of backups along the offensive line. They were injured, but Mahomes is out there for 3 hours just running literally running away from these ferocious defenders. And there's this famous clip of him rolling out to the right. It's almost like a slow-mo from an 80s action movie or something, where there's an explosion and he's like diving out to the right. He's like horizontal, parallel to the ground, and he's unleashing a 30-yard throw into the end zone with Arnold Schwarzenegger's behind him.
He got Arnold.
We've got to get out of here.
We've got to get to the end zone.
Now, I have a question for you about that. This is a little off topic, just a little bit off topic, though. But Patrick Mahomes' father was a pitcher for the Twins.
Yeah.
Why didn't we see Patrick Mahomes Jr. coming and line him up for the Vikings when he finally did? I mean,
so there's like photos of him, and I do remember my first Twins memories were kind of early 90s. So I do remember Pat Mahomes Sr. as kind of a, a hot young prospect. But there's a bunch of photos now that have surfaced the last 5 or 6 years of Patrick Mahomes in like a Twins hat at the Metrodome.
Yep.
We had him, man. We had him in the Metrodome.
I know.
As a 6-year-old or whatever he was, 4-year-old. I blame the early '90s Vikings scouts for not having a better eye.
Honest to God, Dad's here pitching up and saying. By the way, his father was a very nice guy. I should mention that. Patrick Mahomes Sr., very pleasant man to deal with. Didn't do it much, just a couple of times, very brief periods, but real nice guy. So we had the kid in the state. We could have just put up fences like they're doing down in Texas, so he can't get out.
Instead, we're going to dump another $80 million over 2 years into Kirk Cousins, I think. Get people all excited for the next 2 seasons.
Patrick Mahomes with the Twins, and then we had Larry Fitzgerald was the ball boy. For the Vikings.
Yep.
So, Hall of Fame players just pouring out of Minneapolis.
Just leaving in droves. No question about it. I don't know. I just it's really tough to be a Minnesota sports fan. There's no question about it. It just is.
It kind of sucks, Kind of sucks.
I guess the reason I say that because, yes, the Twins won 2 World Series, but now look what they're doing. They're sitting there watching their team get disassembled right in front of them, and they're not doing anything.
Yeah, and when you start to add it up too, because when you have the 4 major men's professional teams, it kind of comes at you faster, right? Because it's like every calendar year there's 4 failures to deal with, and then there's another calendar year. And so if you add up, I want to say, well, what's the math? It's like 1991 was the last time one of those 4 teams won a championship.
Yes.
So 34 seasons or 33 seasons times 4. If you add those seasons up, it's by far the longest championship drought on a per season basis of any 3 or 4 professional sports team town in the country. It's so bad. And I get there's cities like the Buffalo Bills have had a lot of sports tragedies, and the Cleveland Browns. But it's Buffalo doesn't have 4 major men's professional teams. No. So it just comes at us 4 times a year. You're dodging it like the Matrix, I guess.
I have a question for you. They have a AAA baseball team there, don't they?
In Buffalo?
In Buffalo.
They do, yep.
Is it called the Buffalo Bison? Is that the name of it? Isn't a buffalo and a bison the same thing?
Thank you. I went to Buffalo High School. And it's the Buffalo Bison. And we would always wonder the same thing. We're like, isn't this kind of repetitive?
Exactly. Well, let's call ourselves the Kitty Cats. Well, you already said it once, all right?
Yeah. We're the Minnesota Minnesotans.
The Minnesota Minnesotans. That'd be
the
good.
Houston Texans is kind of the same thing, right?
Well, in a way, yeah, absolutely. No doubt about that, but I just I want you to know, and don't forget this because I know you got to take off in a couple of minutes, but I want you to know that we're covered because we have got the greatest team out there, the Kansas City Chargers.
Kansas City Chargers.
Guy sits there on national television and has no idea what the hell he's talking about.
It is funny when you watch like local and national news when there's a sports segment and the main anchors you can tell don't know anything about sports, but they always have to. I've never worked on TV full time. I've done TV stuff throughout my career, but they always have to do the awkward small talk transitions. So we're going to go from sports and we got to take it from sports over to weather, but we need like a minute of banter,
right?
And that's always like a minute of risk when you've got people that don't know sports trying to take the sports baton and hand it over to the weather people. Boy, it sounds like we're going to have a great weekend of sports ball, huh, Bob? Like, okay.
That was a good impression. I like that impression. It was good. There's no question about it.
Are the Kansas City Chargers going to win another championship? Let's go to weather over here. All right. Thanks, Karen.
Kansas City Chargers. And he does this.
Big smile.
Big smile. It's like, yeah, okay. Laugh it up, you dope. That's all I have to say.
Dope is an underutilized insult, I feel like. I'm going to start mixing that one back in.
In my mother's house, everybody was a dope. Oh, you dope. What are you doing, you dope? I miss Toots. You guys should have known Toots. She was a barn burner of a woman. Yeah. Her voice was deeper than mine. So it really worked. Tom, get in here.
You dope.
Mother. Get in here. Have another Paul Mall, Ma. Get that voice a little deeper. What do you say? We miss you, though, Toots. We miss you. All right, Mr. Mackey. Do Do you have a winner of the Super Bowl yet in your head?
Well, it was the Ravens, so I need to regroup.
Right.
I think Tevin and I were both very confident on the Ravens.
Yeah, not a great weekend.
So I'm gonna regroup on that one, Tom, and I'll get back to you on Friday. How about that?
It's going to be interesting. I don't know. It'd probably be a pretty damn good game, I would think. It should be a good Super Bowl.
I mean, I think the 49ers have the better roster, but the Kansas City Chiefs have the greatest player in football history. So
yeah, you're
Patrick
right about
Mahomes.
that. I would normally argue with you about that, but it's pretty hard to argue that point. That guy is unbelievably good.
Yeah. You don't queue up like old-timey football games from the 60s and 70s and see dudes doing what Patrick Mahomes is doing in the modern NFL.
No question about it.
Wouldn't it be fun? That'd be a fun experiment. Just put like Patrick Mahomes back in the 1950s NFL and see what happens.
They would burn him at the stake for witchcraft.
That might be true. Do you think the Hubbards could get me on the field after the Super Bowl?
Right next to Taylor Swift?
Right next to Taylor Swift.
Tony Romo, Taylor Swift, and Tommy B with the confetti falling.
Just the confetti falling everywhere, just ridiculing the piss out. I just love to do it once because I would just go, that wasn't a very good play by you. What happened there? Just everybody comes off the field. Make it very negative, whatever. That's
what it should be. We send like Jim Nantz and Michael Strahan up there to do these interviews, and it's all these tough questions. I'd ask, some tougher questions. I know you guys just won your way to the Super Bowl here, but what the hell happened in the first half there, Brock? You were awful.
I'd love to see that. It'll never happen, but I'd love to see it. I guarantee it.
You guys got lucky. Would you agree?
Right. That's the kind of reporting I want to see. I love it. All right, Pally, we'll talk to you on Friday.
All right. See you guys.
Thanks a lot. Phil Mackey, ladies and gentlemen, SKOR North. We'll take a break. Be right back. Chris Egert, another TV superstar, appearing in just minutes here on the Tom Barnard Show. Mike Lindell and MyPillow employees want to thank my listeners for all your continued support. To thank you, they're having an overstock, clearance, and new product sale right now for the best prices ever when you use promo code TOM, and you get free shipping on your entire order. Get 50% off the MyPillow 2.0. Also get 50% off the brand new flannel sheets that just arrived and won't last long. 6-pack towel sets for only $29.98. Take advantage of the free shipping on larger items such as mattresses, mattress toppers, 100% made in the USA, on sale for as low as $99.99. Everything's on sale, from the brand new kitchen towels that have the same technology as the bath towels that actually absorb, dog beds, blankets, couch pillows, so much more. To get the best specials ever, go to MyPillow.com or call 1-800-516-5146. Use promo code TOM and you get free shipping on your entire order. I said your entire order. So call 800-516-5146 or go to MyPillow.com. Use promo code TOM.
Jim Paul of Valley Buick GMC has a mutiny on his hands. His sales crew said they've had it brooming snow off the new Buicks and GMCs, then warm them up, move them to plow, and repark them again. He even overheard them cooking up an alternative plan, a sale.
This is crazy. Why don't we just mark them down and sell them?
This is getting real old to be out on that lot in this sub-zero weather.
That's right. Everyone we sell is one less to broom.
I heard we're supposed to get 6 more inches tomorrow.
I'm 5'6". How am I supposed to get the snow off the roof of a pickup?
I'm Jim Paul, and car dealers do have all kinds of crazy sales. This idea probably makes more sense than most. There's plenty of inventory, so okay, the crew has decided.
So then it's official. The We Don't Want to Broom snow sale is in full force at Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley and Hastings. Snowy inventory priced real right at valleycardealers.com.
Tom here, and I want to discuss a partnership that has been wonderful in my life, Zero Res Carpet Care. Very good friends of mine. Nothing is better to someone with a family than having a completely clean home. Your carpet is the biggest filter in your house. If you want to talk about pet dander or foot traffic, dirt from the outside, they all eventually reside in your carpet. So, Zero Res Carpet Care. Listen, around the holidays, you need to contact ZeroResMinnesota.com or call 952-ZEROREZ. That's 952-ZERO-RES. They clean your home with their electrolyzed pH-elevated water that doesn't use chemicals or soaps that smell like a janitor's closet like other cleaning services. How about a Tom Barnard deal? Well, here it is. Get 3 rooms, 0 resified, starting at $129, and don't forget your air ducts. Mention me, and they'll discount your air vents by $75 too. This is for the entire month, so call them right now, 9520-RES, backward or forwarded, spells the same, or book online, zeroresminnesota.com. If it's available, ask for them to come to your place in the Tom Barnard named service truck. What an honor that was, by the way. Just mention me by name and get the special deal to get your home clean and your heart happy. Zero Res Carpet.
This is the Tom Barnard Podcast.
And we're back with, as I said earlier, superstar newsman Chris Egert.
Yeah. What? Who?
What? Who are you talking about? Who you got?
That was funny, Phil talking about the transitions between the weather and the sports guys on the news and the news people sometimes. Yeah, I've seen some really, 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 really bad takes in those situations from people who didn't really know the sport.
That does happen once in a while, like referring to dead people. How do you think this team would do it? Like maybe they should go out and pick up Wilt Chamberlain. Well,
yeah. That'd be great. Yeah.
I mean, this will not surprise you to know that the whole idea that irritates me because, like, just because you're not a sports person doesn't mean you should not have some awareness of the current landscape. Like, that's your job. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not an expert on city council meetings or, let's say, the county water board. Mm-hmm. However, as the news person, it's my idea, it's my job to sort of get a little bit of an idea of what's going to happen at said meeting or said whatever. So the idea that you can just throw your arms up the air and go, oh, I don't know sports, whatever, like that's kind of ridiculous.
Ladies and gentlemen, Channel 5's Chris Egert is brought to you by Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free 48-minute evaluation, 952-925-5608. That's 952-925-5608. Channel 5's Chris Egert, already laying it down like there's nobody's business.
That's right, Tommy. I'm coming out hot.
There's no question about it. I'm going to repeat this to everybody that pops on this show today. I can't remember the guy's name. He's one of the lead anchors on Fox Channel. He's tall, got blondish gray hair, wears glasses. What the hell's his name? I don't know their names. I don't watch them.
Not Steve Ducey, is it?
No, not Steve Ducey. I don't know who the hell it is.
Yeah.
But he came on this morning because I watch CNN for about a minute and I watch Fox for about a minute, and that's all I can take because they lie just to drive their ratings up so they can make more money. But he said this morning, don't even think about it and take my advice. This is where, if you're going to bet on the Super Bowl, follow my lead. I guarantee you a victory by the Kansas City Chargers.
No way. He really said that?
He absolutely did.
Did he correct it?
No. The Kansas City Chargers. Yes. Let's get out there.
Well, they're going to merge, I guess. So.
They're going to merge eventually.
What a terrible idea for Kansas City to merge with anybody. I think they're doing fine on their own, right?
Yeah, they're doing okay. Did you catch a game yesterday, any of the games?
I did watch, and I watched a majority of the Detroit game, but I had to go to bed. But right as the tide was turning in that game, and I was like, oh, this is done. You could just see the momentum slipping away from them. It was.
Yep. I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
But
did you watch?
I watched the first game. I didn't get a chance to watch the second game because I had some commitments. I wasn't home for the second game. I did want to watch it because, hey, you got to hand it to the Lions. The Lions are a damn good football team, and that's his first year there, isn't it? The head coach.
Third.
Oh, it's his third year there. So that just shows you. I mean, that literally just shows you that I didn't even pay attention to the Lions, not even knowing it was he's been there for 2 years. Yeah. Now all of a sudden I know he's there because he had a damn good year. No doubt about it.
First year they won like 3 games or something. They were still terrible because he took over a terrible team. Second year they were doorstep of the playoffs, and then obviously now they're doorstep of the Super Bowl. So next year we'll probably rename the Lombardi after him.
Yeah, there you go. That'll get it done. The Lombardi Trophy, ladies and
gentlemen.
It's already
done. It's Dan's.
No question about it. But yeah, it was. You have to admit it was a pretty interesting game. No question about it.
Are people done? Are people not over the Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce thing?
I'm so done with it. All the headlines today where Andy Reid points to Taylor Swift after the game, like, here's Taylor Swift's potential flight plan from Japan to wherever the Super Bowl is.
I saw that stupid. Yeah.
Again, God bless the young woman. She and maybe it's aren't her parents her managers? I think.
I don't know that for certain. I'm sure they were at some point, but I'm not sure.
I mean, they turned something, because she's an okay singer. She's not a great singer. She's okay. And she's a cute kid, no question about it. They turned that into $1 billion, man. That's pretty damn impressive, if you ask me.
Oh, for sure. That's not just like, there's 1 million people in the world who have talent to be able to sing.
Sure.
Right?
Yep.
Like, it's just like all the other factors that came into play to make her what she's become. Tevin, I totally get it though with you. Like, it's so annoying. But then on the other hand, it's like, who freaking cares, dude?
Right.
Like,
I kind of want the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl just so I can hear all like the Swifties like, oh my gosh, like we're so happy for Taylor Swift's boyfriend. Like he won his little championship.
I agree with you on that. I don't know why.
Chris, are you on Reddit at all?
What's that?
Do you use Reddit at all?
I do.
So it's hilarious watching because I'll see these highlights and Tom, it's like a message board type of app, basically, like website. But there's different communities. So the Taylor Swift subreddit, I see like the highlights from it every weekend now, and it's just like they have a live chat going throughout the game, and it's incredible how much football knowledge these Taylor Swift fans have learned solely for the fact that she's dating a football player, because they're like, why is this safety on the field? Like, get him off. Like, breaking it down, like, why are we running nickel coverage right now? Like, it's insane how much they know. They've dedicated. They're so dedicated. It's hilarious.
Imagine being a coach or a player. You've dedicated your whole life to this, and some 16-year-old girl that's never watched football before is just tweeting at you like, you're terrible. You're costing Taylor Swift.
The slot receiver is wide open. Like they're getting into it. It's awesome.
I like that. That works for me.
It's very funny.
Is it true that their name is actually pronounced Kels, not Kelsey?
That's what they talked about on their Jason and Travis have a podcast called New Heights. And they said that their dad or maybe their grandpa changed it. It used to just be Kels, but everybody would just say Kelsey because of how it looks. Well, we're just going to change it.
But it looks like Pulse, only a Kel instead of a Puss. See what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah, I always thought their name was Kels, but it was changed a couple of generations ago.
Yes, sounds like
okay, I see. Because I know that in my family, and I don't have any idea why one of my brothers pronounces the last name like this, but my last name is Barnard, okay? Barnard is the name. He pronounces it Barnard. How do you get Barnard out of Barnard?
That's a good question.
I don't get it.
British people saying aluminium.
Aluminium. Yeah, they put an extra I in there. That's right. Aluminium. No, it's aluminum, but that's okay. Anyway,
Tommy, where do you fall on February or February?
I always pronounce it February. I always pronounce it the correct way.
The proper way? February.
Yeah, February. That doesn't bother me. People say February all the time. Yeah, whatever.
Well, it's about to become February, and it's always a point of contention over here because there was somebody pretty high up as high up in the organization as you can get, who did not like it when the news people would say February. So
you didn't like it when they said it properly?
No, the February, the wrong
February,
way.
The wrong way. Okay.
So when I do it, I'm always like February, and so now I got like a hang up on it. I don't want to mess it up.
I always say February, but when I spell it, I'll say it February, so I spell it correctly.
So there you go. There's no question.
Good job, Kevin.
Now, if you were talking about maybe the guy whose name was Stan something, is that who you're talking about?
Stan adjacent.
Stan adjacent. Okay, because I will still never forget about. It's coming up on about 10, 11 months now. I was in the cafeteria at the KSTP building. I'm standing there with Dan, and we're just talking. All of a sudden, I hear this voice. Hey, Tom Barnard, how you doing? I turn around, it was Mr. Hubbard. How the hell does he even know who I am?
Oh, he knows. He's all-knowing.
He is, man. That guy knows everybody.
Seriously.
No, I mean, that was very impressive because I haven't seen him in 30 years.
He heard you probably recognize your voice before even seeing you.
No, I guess I actually ran into him about 10 years ago. He was standing in the hallway at some concert, or I think it was a concert we were at, but I said hello to him very quickly at that point. But yeah, that's amazing because he must run into how many thousands of people a month, for God's sake. That's pretty impressive.
Very impressive, man, and no doubt about it.
I guess so. Any closing words you got for us, Pally?
Everything's canceled still.
Everything's canceled.
Because of the warm weather. The more things are canceled than they were last week, and everything's melting, and there you go.
That's good, though, isn't it?
Pretty much all you need to know.
Winter
it's not good if you're planning a winter event like the St. Paul Winter Carnival.
You're right.
Or a giant ice castle situation that's already going to have to close basically before it even opens. So,
what are you going to do? All right, Pally.
All right, you guys, have a good rest of your day.
You too. Talk to you tomorrow. Chris Egert, ladies and gentlemen. Channel 5's Chris Egert is brought to you by Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free 48-minute evaluation. Number's 952-925-5608. And I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, once it starts, it just never stops. Now you're going to have to put up with Bob Sansevere. You want to do that, or should we just tell him to forget it?
Yeah, I think we just kind of air breaking up Bob and
get rid of him.
The whole studio is going through a tunnel. Sorry, we'll talk to you.
Yes, we're on board we love Bob Sansevere, and Bob Sansevere will be up right after this, right back.
You know the song Kokomo? It's supposed to be off the Florida Keys, right? Hate to break your Beach Boys bubble, but that's a fictitious place they made up for the song. Fortunately for the rest of us, the Florida Keys island chain are as real as the taxes you have to pay in Minnesota if you're a resident. Now that's the reason to move south. In addition to Florida and all of Monroe County being beautiful, the Keys from Key Largo to Key West are even more beautiful. This is Tom Barnard, part-time Florida resident myself. And if you want a second house or a new retirement home or want to become a Floridian, may I suggest you contact Matt Carlson from One Key West Realty. Matt grew up in Litchfield. He's a super real estate agent when it comes to finding your tropical island space in the Keys. He lives there and here, and Matt knows what's best in Key West to buy. For your second home in Florida, Matt teamed up with fellow Minnesotan from Sartell and Alexandria, Kristen Eklund, who's one of the top mortgage brokers in the country from Coast to Coast Mortgage. She'll get you the financing you need to buy a home in Florida or in Minnesota. Matt's part of the Lake Sotheby's International Realty Group here in Minnesota, and Kristen, his mortgage colleague, lives and works in the Keys, so they both know the Florida Keys' new and existing homes for sale and are Minnesotan through and through. Contact them by heading to onekeywest.com. That's onekeywest.com.
Is that text you're sending so important that you missed your turn? Is that text you're sending so important that you ran the red light? Is that text you're sending so important you didn't see the ball coming onto the road or the child that followed? Hi, I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw & Bryant. When you take your eyes off the road for even 4 seconds, your vehicle travels 100 yards. That's the entire length of a football field. If you absolutely have to text, you need to pull off the road somewhere safe and do it from there. Texting and driving is against the law and can cause serious injury or even death to you and others. Now that is important. We hope you're never injured in a collision, but if you are, please contact us.
Find Bradshaw & Bryant, personal injury attorneys at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
Going farther with Mike Bryant on your side, seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw & Bryant.
You need to know a guy for your auto repairs, legal issues, banking, and more. The same goes for investment advice. You need a guy to help you be successful, someone you can trust who gets results. Well, I got a guy for you, Josh Arnold. Josh gives you straight talk, not sugar-coated advice about your financial situation. Josh has seen it all when it comes to economic and market conditions, and Josh can make sure that your retirement objectives match your investments. Do yourself a favor and call Josh now for a no-obligation 48-minute evaluation. You've got nothing to lose, and you'll get a different point of view for your investments. Call Josh at 952-925-5608. That is 952-925-5608. You'll be glad that you did, and tell him his guy, Tom, sent you.
Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC, a security investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice. Tom Barnard is a paid endorser.
You're listening to the Tom Barnard Podcast.
You got to wear a shirt every time you come on here that promotes your show. Is that the plan?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. He doesn't even deny it.
Hat too. See?
Oh, yeah, the hat too, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, Bob Sansevere Sports is brought to you by Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury lawyers seeking justice for the injured. Contact Bradshaw and Bryant at minnesotapersonalinjury.com. That's minnesotapersonalinjury.com. Sanny.
Sir.
Where do we start? With life itself, with football, with, politics? Where are you headed to?
I'm a big meaning of life guy. And I'll tell you what, if I were, and I just do fantasy football. I don't bet, but I would never bet against Patrick Mahomes.
I understand. I understand, Bob. He can win them. There's no doubt about it.
And I will say this, the Niners opened as like a 2.5-point favorite in Vegas. At some of the books, it was down to 1. So the money was coming in, hard on the Chiefs. And I mean, how do you his team has just come together. He has the best defense he's had since he's been there. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, Travis Kelce, he was showing his age in the regular season. In the postseason, he's been unbelievably good. And even when Marquez Valdez-Scantling makes a few big catches, there's no stopping your team. Because he's a bum, generally.
I will tell you, and that's the flat-out truth, and Bob, you would know this, and maybe, Tevin, you would know it too. AJ, maybe a little bit because you haven't been around the family as much. But, I mean, can you imagine Catherine acting like whatever her name is, Taylor Swift? Oh, Tom, I'm coming to every one of your shows and sitting in the audience. And Catherine would be like, I'll see you when you get back from work. Okay, that's great. There's no way. If I were a professional football player, there is no way Catherine Brandt would go to my football games more than about once a season.
All right, which one of your brothers would rip off his shirt during your show, like Jason Kelce did?
That's right.
Last week.
Let's see. That probably would have been Troy, but he's no longer with us, unfortunately.
Shame.
Yeah, what are you going to do? But I tell you, I did not watch the second game. I had stuff I had to do, but both the games were pretty good games.
Well, the second game, it was down by 17, the Niners, and the Niners made adjustments, and the Lions didn't anticipate the adjustments. And Dan Campbell, I know you love going for it on fourth down, but use your freaking head. Yeah. Get the points. Take the points, because what you're basically telling your offense is, I'm not going to kick the field goal. I want to get the touchdown because I don't have enough faith in you if I kick a field goal for you to get a touchdown on another drive.
Right.
That's really the message that's sent to a team that is reeling in the second half and needs points. Yeah, so that didn't make sense, what he did. And, a couple of fourth down plays. He just loves going for it. And that's fine. But you got to look at the situation and where your team is at.
So you said that we're down to a 1-point game now. What's your view, Bob? You got to win.
Chiefs. I would,
Chiefs, yeah.
Because, I mean, I'm not going to bet against Mahomes. And I would say that, Brock Purdy, I thought he really has played very well these last 2 postseason games, bringing them comeback victories. However, you give me Purdy or Holmes, I'm taking Purdy. I'm taking Holmes, not Purdy. Mahomes.
Okay, Bob, we're going to put the same pressure on you that I put on Tevin and AJ earlier this morning.
Yeah.
You ready for this?
Yes, sir.
How in the hell did that kid, Patrick Mahomes Jr., ever escape becoming a Viking since he lived here when his father was with the Twins?
Tom, you know what? If you watched the games yesterday, you didn't watch the first game, right? You said? Mm-hmm. How did Kwesi Adofo-Mensah make probably the biggest boneheaded decision of his drafting career? He could have had Kyle Hamilton 2 picks earlier than he was chosen, but he traded that pick. And then the Vikings wind up with a guy who hasn't seen the field hardly at all.
You worked on that.
No, Kyle it's a natural. Kyle Hamilton is the best safety in football. He was in every play. I mean, this would not have been as close as it was if Kyle Hamilton was not on the field. And everyone knew he was the best safety in the draft. What is it with Kwesi? I mean, this guy has a lot of making up to do with the mistakes that he has made, or that was a boneheaded move. And you just don't trade that pick.
I don't know, Bob. I think it might be time to clean house. Give him one more year, maybe.
Well, and Bob, to add to your Kyle Hamilton thing too, he was looked at as a top 5 draft pick and fell all the way down.
Yes.
And it was like, this is the most no-brainer. It was almost as easy as taking Jordan Addison when he fell.
Yeah, at least he took that. He wound up taking him. You know, this whole organization, though. Remember, and it's it's a lot of the Vikings, the diehards, the sycophants. Oh, we better make Brian Flores the highest-paid defensive coordinator so we don't lose him. I don't think he's had a single interview to be a head coach.
Really?
Because teams, I think, are scared of the lawsuit that he filed. And while he was hired, and I give the Wills credit for hiring him, but I think they talk about, there's no blacklisting in the NFL. There is. These coaches stay away because it's like the word is out. You can't make him a head coach because then it looks bad for the Miami coach. They take care of each other. So, and I think he is. I think he was a heck of a head coach, but he's not. For him not to get even a whiff of an interview is odd.
No, I understand that. I see what you're saying. I don't know. It's one of those situations where it's getting to be more painful as my life goes on to be a Viking fan, Bob. Is it ever going to happen ever?
No.
It's not, is it?
Okay, not in the... Now, how old is your youngest grandchild?
2.
Okay, chances are not in the lifetime of your grandchild's great-grandchildren.
Well, the next 150 years.
Yeah, something like that. Well, because look at that. I mean, they've never won a Super Bowl, and now, if you just take a look at the NFC North, they're no better than 3rd. And depending on what the Bears are going to do, they may be the 4th team in a 4-team division. Because, I mean, next year, I think it'll be the Packers that win the division.
Yeah,
the Lions are good.
No,
but the Packers, they're the youngest team in the league.
Yep.
And they did give the Niners a heck of a game, and they were coming on very strong at the end of the season. Mm-hmm. And the Lions, despite their loss, they're not going anywhere. It's not like they're going to fall off the table because Campbell, while he doesn't know what to do on 4th down, he's not going to let this team, recede, and he's going to keep them where they need to be mentally.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a very tough road, and that's why I think that what you had said a little bit ago, I think this could be their last year, Kwesi and O'Connell, because how do you turn it around?
If you don't get something big done this year, everybody's got to go. That'd be their 3rd year?
Yeah, probably the best chance they would have of sticking around is get one of the good rookie quarterbacks. If you have to move up to get – you're not going to get Caleb Williams and Drake May. I'm not a big North Carolina quarterback guy because none of them have really panned out.
That's true.
But this Jaden Daniels is terrific, and I still like J.J. McCarthy, but I think you can buy even another year if you do draft a rookie and you play him.
Yeah.
You'll get that extra time from the Wills, but you can't do it. And I know the whole theory of you bring back Cousins and then you let him sit a year. A guy like J.J. McCarthy, he's NFL ready because he played for an NFL coach in an NFL system already. And the guy's a winner. And he will absolutely be there when you're picking.
Yeah, you probably take him in the 2nd round.
Yeah, I don't know if you could wait till the 2nd round for him. But I would still, where they are sitting, I would not move from that spot. If you really feel that he's, it's too soon to take him or one of the other quarterbacks when the top 3 are gone, then you take the best player who's there, and you package draft picks to move up to get him later in the 1st round or 2nd round. I mean, if you're Kwesi Adofo-Mensah or Kevin O'Connell, you can't be so dim to not recognize this is a year you have to produce. So what do you care if you give away next year's draft pick, top pick, to move up and get the quarterback that you think you can change things? And no Viking fan would complain if they traded the 2025 1st-round pick to get the top player at number 11, which I think they're 11th, and a quarterback in the 1st round as well. Especially a good one. I mean, not a Jaron Hall type of guy. Yeah. But if they went for Penix or they went for J.J. McCarthy, you could not complain about that.
What about even like a Jaden
Jaden Daniels is you have to move up to get him.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, if you take that 11, you take another future
package something. Yes.
Yeah. And you jump up because I think with Gerard Mayo now in New England, I don't know if that's the type of guy that they want. He might want to look more defensive structure, so they might be willing to move from that third overall pick.
Yeah, a lot of the teams ahead of us potentially need quarterbacks, depending on what they view their own situation as. But with being at 11, we probably aren't going to be drafting this high again, so it's only going to cost more to move up next year. And I don't think next year's draft is as strong at the quarterback position as this year's is. So
they need a quarterback this year. They can't keep waiting.
One. Yeah, you got to get one right now.
So what's going to happen? And the three of you, I mean, obviously, I wouldn't bring the other quarterback back. Isn't he almost 40?
He's 36, I think. But also,
he's only 36. Well,
and if you could get him at I would be stunned if other teams, because for him to when he would be working out and being checked out, his Achilles heel is not going to be healthy. No. I mean, that's a year-long recovery. I don't care what Aaron Rodgers says.
Right.
And, there will be atrophy, and he is 36. Yeah. It takes longer to recover. He's not going to be getting the huge contract from some team.
No, and I heard some alarming news. He's been talking to Tom Brady and getting his kind of regimen put together because he wants to try and play till he's, 45. Yeah, he's trying to get his own version of the TB12 going.
Oh, great. He'll be with the Vikings till 2035.
Bob, don't say that. Don't say that, Bob.
Keep in mind, the one thing all the Cousins sycophants, and there's plenty of them out there, need to remember is why was he brought here? He was brought here because he was the last piece this team needed to get to a Super Bowl.
Yep.
Case Keenum got him to the championship game, but for whatever reason, Zimmer did not think that he could be their quarterback. With the offense they had, he could have stayed and been their quarterback. But he was brought in to win them and get them to the Super Bowl, and he hasn't gotten close.
Well, Bob, it does make me kind of sad that, because the team's been so good. What am I going to do sitting around for the rest of the year until the Vikings start again this fall?
Well,
what am I going to do?
Oh, you got your Timberwolves. They're a lot of fun. Whether they don't play for the coach, he tells them to do something, they ignore him.
There is
that 62-point game when he was telling them, how does anyone score 62 points and your team loses?
It can't be easy, I wouldn't think. But
that's a few ago. They've had games since then, but still, to me, if they could get something for Karl Anthony Towns, I would get him off this team because I think he needs to be gone from this team. Because I think it's a culture thing and just the way I think it would change the dynamic in the locker room because he does not like. It's obvious he doesn't like Anthony Edwards getting all the attention he gets.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely true. All right, in closing, because I know you got to go, Bob. In closing, we'll grow on the three of you. Your pick to win the Super Bowl. Start with Tevin.
Give me the Chiefs by 10 with a late field goal. Yeah.
All right. You got AJ.
I'll side with that as well. It's hard right now to bet against Pat Mahomes, so I'll take them by 11, and I'll want to be by 1.
Oh, Jesus, these guys! I'm gonna have to take them by 50 because I want the Chiefs too.
You want the Chiefs to? We all four want the Chiefs to win this. It's pretty, and San Francisco's got a great history of winning Super Bowls.
Yes, and Tom, just as we close. Like with the NFC Championship game, I really didn't care which team won, though I found myself at halftime hoping the Niners could rally.
Yeah.
I like both. These are the two teams I thought at the beginning of the year we'd see, and I'm glad that they're playing because I like both. There's nothing and no one at neither team that I dislike, and I would say, oh, my God, I hope they really get, they get screwed over. It could be a really tight game, but I'm not going to bet against Patrick Mahomes when he gets the ball last to score.
I think that's the thing. Like, more than anything, I just want a good game. I don't want a 13-7 defensive grind. I want points. I want flashy plays. I want Patrick Mahomes airing it out for 80 yards.
And I don't trust that Niner rookie kicker because he has missed he missed the kick early in yesterday's game, and the week before he missed an extra point and a field goal. You put the pressure of a Super Bowl on this kid. Good luck with all that. When you're going against the second best kicker in NFL history.
Jake Moody.
Jake Moody.
And
Harrison Butker is he's money.
Yes. Yeah. And if they get down 17 at halftime to Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, they're not coming back. No. This isn't the Lions.
No, Andy Reid's not going to – and that's Steve Spagnuolo. He's a phenomenal defensive coordinator. Maybe the best in the league, but he's too old to get a new head coaching job. So I don't see them. I think that they'll win, and Mahomes. Then the talk will really heat up of being he's the GOAT. Everybody wants to have the GOAT in their generation or when they're watching. We're all lucky. We have seen the greatest. I mean, Tom, you and I, more than Tevin and AJ, have seen the two greatest quarterbacks of all time in Joe Montana and Tom Brady.
Yeah.
And now we're seeing the third greatest of all time.
I agree. I 100% agree. I hate agreeing with the three of you. It really makes me uncomfortable.
It sickens you.
It sickens me. That's exactly right. All right, Sandy, we'll talk to you on Friday.
Living for it. See ya.
Thanks a lot. Bob Sansevere Sports brought to you by Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury lawyer seeking justice for the injured. Contact Bradshaw and Bryant at minnesotapersonalinjury.com. That is Bradshaw and Bryant bringing you Bob Sansevere. We'll take a break. Be right back. Check a little news right after this. Got Kristen Burt coming up in about right around 15 minutes from now. We'll be right back.
Hello, I'm Brad Huckle, President and Chief Lending Officer at North American Banking Company.
And I'm Michael Bilski, CEO at North American Banking Company.
As a locally owned and operated community bank, we work with many multi-generational businesses.
Take personal care dentistry of Roseville, for example. Dr. Walter Hunt, also known as Painless to me, has been a longtime customer of the bank since we opened the bank in 1998.
When his son Kyle was ready to join the practice, they wanted to expand quickly.
With their additional space and equipment, they now are able to see more patients each day while providing the same level of care and service.
Okay, guys, I'll take it from here. If you run a family business or any kind of business for that matter, you should be banking with Brad and Mike over at North American Banking Company. Every time I deal with them or their team, I know I'm working with experienced professional bankers. So why not bank with my banker? North American Banking Company, a better banking experience, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
This is Bob Sansevere, and I want to tell you about Dave Bialke from Bialke Law. Dave represented my wife, Mary, when she had a significant workplace injury. She was very happy with the job Dave did. If you have a work-related injury and have Dave represent you, I'm betting you'll be happy too. Dave is a down-to-earth guy. He grew up in northern Minnesota, rides a Harley, and worked various jobs doing concrete, electrical, plumbing, roofing, and carpentry work. Dave works for people with work-related injuries. If you work construction, or anywhere for that matter, and you're hurt or even just hurting, you should talk to Dave. Let's face it, our bodies wear out. If your body is worn out from work, if your knees or back or shoulders hurt from things you do at work, do what Mary did. Call Dave and talk to him about it at Bialke Law to set up a free initial consultation. The number to call is 763-571-2410. That's 763-571-2410. Or visit bialkelaw.com. That's BIALKE law.com.
Tom here, and I want to discuss a partnership that has been wonderful in my life. Zero Res Carpet Care, very good friends of mine. Nothing is better to someone with a family than having a completely clean home. Your carpet is the biggest filter in your house. If you want to talk about pet dander or foot traffic, dirt from the outside, they all eventually reside in your carpet. So, Zero Res Carpet Care. Listen, around the holidays, you need to contact ZeroResMinnesota.com or call 952-ZEROREZ. That's 952-ZERO-RES. They clean your home with their electrolyzed pH-elevated water that doesn't use chemicals or soaps that smell like a janitor's closet like other cleaning services. How about a Tom Barnard deal? Well, here it is. Get 3 rooms, zero resified, starting at $129, and don't forget your air ducts. Mention me, and they'll discount your air vents by $75 too. This is for the entire month, so call them right now, 952-0-RES, backward or forward, spells the same, or book online, ZeroResMinnesota.com. If it's available, ask for them to come to your place in the Tom Barnard named service truck. What an honor that was, by the way. Just mention me by name and get the special deal to get your home clean and your heart happy. Zero Res Carpet.
The new Tom Barnard Show is proud to have partners like Bradshaw and Bryant, MyPillow, and North American Banking Company founder, chairman, and president, Mike Bilski.
I've advertised on Tom's show for years, and the reason is simple. My business is recognized because of the ads, and that recognition has created growth. What business doesn't want to grow? I highly recommend the Tom Barnard Morning Show for your advertising.
Grow results for your business by partnering with the Tom Barnard Show. Visit TomBarnardShow.com, keyword partner. You're listening to the Tom Barnard Podcast.
That's what you say, sister. That's all I have to say to you. Just taking a look at some of the news this morning. 4 phone habits that might be signs of anxiety. You guys have a lot of anxiety in your life?
I would say, yeah, just 24/7.
24/7, all the time, yes.
Constant anxiety. No, I would say not any higher than the average person.
You don't think so?
I think like when times maybe call for it, there's everybody has high stress situations, but I feel like my my day-to-day life is pretty laid back and calm, I feel like.
So you guys don't ever watch the news? Is that what you're saying?
That's actually exactly what I'm saying. I rarely watch.
I don't blame you. I have to get away from it because, honest to God, since I started this job and decided, I should know more about what's going on in the news, I've been watching the news, and it's just, honest to God, you just riddled with anxiety because you look at them and you go, I know I still think, by the way, and everybody thinks I'm nuts, I think there's a guy from Fox and a guy from CNN that get together every Sunday night. Okay, this week, my people are going to go after this deal, and then you go after it the opposite way, and we'll get all the people on one side, and you'll get all the people on the other side, and we'll both make billions of dollars. What do you think? I still think this is all a scam. I really do.
I think it'd be an incredible science experiment just to get 1 week of your heartbeat rates. Just see what that's like. Yep. And then force you to not watch any news outlets for a full week just to see how that changes you. See if that makes it go higher, makes it go lower. Maybe it mellows you out more. I think that could be fun.
It's so bad right now. It's like everything. Oh, this is a perfect thing. This is what we have to do. We got to get it done. You turn the channel. The last thing we need to do is this thing. We can't get it. It's like, oh, my God. Do you agree on anything?
No, they won't even agree that they disagree half the time.
No, that is true. To me, it's become all-star wrestling. It used to be the AWA, the American Wrestling Association. Vern Gagne was the owner of it, the president of it. It just seems to me that it's all planned out on a Sunday night and all through the rest of the week. Here's your news, and we'll go at each other. We'll criticize each other. It'll be wonderful. Draws a lot of attention.
Oh yeah, it gets clicks and views, and that's really all they're trying to do. It's all just business, not necessarily trying to bring the news. It's just how can we keep you entertained.
And therefore, people have a lot of anxiety. Therapists shared out a list of phone habits that have people might actually be a sign of anxiety with some people. They include doom scrolling, which I don't even know what that is yet, avoiding people by using your phone, and the inability to put your phone down. We are all probably on our phones way too much, and while some of us use our smartphones worry-free, most of us don't. Well, one thing it's a lot less worry-free. I changed my provider. Did I tell you guys this?
I don't know if we talk about it on air.
Changed my provider. My bill went from $270 a month down to $30 a month. Explain that to me.
Yeah, why are they able to do it so cheap and the other people aren't?
It's just $270 a month for my phone. It was costing me over $3,000 a year to talk on my cell phone.
No.
What the hell is that? So yes, there is anxiety there. They're right about that. It is a sign of anxiety. Doom scrolling. That's when you constantly search for disturbing news, even though that news never makes you feel any better. This could be both a sign of anxiety and even cause your anxiety in the first place. Well, isn't that what they're wanting you to do, is the doom scrolling? That's certainly what television wants you to do. All it ever is negative. It's just bad news, correct?
Yeah.
And
that'd be like watching, knowing you're going to get scared and maybe lose sleep after watching a horror film, but still going out of your way to on a Tuesday night, 8:00. What's the newest, what's the goriest thing I can find on Netflix? What's the hacker film, blah, blah, blah. And then you just covers the chin all night. I heard a creak down the hall. What is that? Of course you're going to have more anxiety if that's what you're going out to do.
I would think so in any case. Staying away from anxiety. I get a lot of anxiety anyway. First of all, if you're in the television, radio, podcasting, newspaper, any of those kind of businesses, you're going to have a lot of anxiety anyway because your name is out there. I was talking to a friend of mine about that yesterday. He's a pretty famous guy, and I won't even say who it is, but he's a very famous guy. And he was asking me if I was going to do any spring vacations this year or anything like that. And everybody would know who this guy is. And he said he's gotten to the point now where he can't go anywhere on vacation because he can't vacation. Can you imagine what that would be like? You just want to go down on the beach and lay around on the beach and take it easy, and you can't because you're so famous that people won't leave you alone.
Oh, yeah. The little things even, I got to run to the store quick, or I want to just go for a walk. You can't, when you get to that level of fame, I couldn't imagine.
I know it's got to be very, and I talked to him about it. I said, yeah, I understand. I understand what you're saying. That's got to be very, very difficult when, I mean, it's a whole different thing when people know who you are in a city or a state or something like that, or even one country. These actors, everybody around the world knows who you are.
Yeah.
That's got to be tough, I would think. I mean, in some ways it's great because you're making a ton of money and, they're supporting you.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as a private life is concerned, you don't have a private life, I wouldn't think.
No, I ran into Kevin Hart and Ice Cube at the Mall of America. They were promoting, I think it was like Ride Along 2. And so they're walking down the hallway after they do their little promo, and Ice Cube stops and he gives me a fist bump because I was standing kind of where they're going down this hallway. And all of a sudden you hear feel the ground shake. And it's a stampede of people just running towards them, screaming like, "Oh my gosh, we want to meet you!" And then they both just immediately just book it down this little private hallway to get to wherever they had to go. But yeah, I could when Bieber Fever was at its peak.
Oh,
and,
sure.
People are throwing themselves off balconies and landing on his tour bus. It's insane.
Where is? I haven't heard his name in a long time. What happened to him?
He's still putting out music. He's not as big as he was, but I mean, yeah, he's still, anytime he drops anything, everybody downloads it or gives it a listen.
That is interesting to talk about truly famous people. Because, I mean, you could be well-known in your hometown and all the rest of it. That's one thing. But to be truly famous around the world, it's got to be, I mean, it's great. You're making a ton of money because of it. But there's a tremendous burden on you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the only thing stopping me personally
from being a huge superstar.
As I just value going out to the grocery store and not having mobs of people swarm me. I value that too much. So as soon as I get tired of that, though, I mean, stardom, here we go.
One of my favorites of all time, though, was back during all that hubbub that people had a fit because I said, and by the way, I'll say it again today, assimilation is a good thing. It's not driving anybody. You know what I love about this? The very people who argued with me and said that was racist to bring up assimilation are the people, if you don't do exactly what they do, in other words, assimilate, they're pissed off at you. So the very thing you're pissed off at me about is something you're going to be pissed off at me about if I don't do it. Does that make any sense to you?
Yeah, well, the word assimilation gets, the negative connotation because that word kind of got hijacked, but the overall premise of bring the best parts of your culture. But, if I move to Brazil, I'm going to probably have to, assimilate to their culture. Otherwise it's going to be pretty hard for me to get around and function on a day-to-day level.
Well, Tevin, if you move to Central America, you're going to have to become a drug dealer. I mean, you just to fit in.
Oh, I've watched enough drug kingpin documentaries where it gets to that point where we got to start moving some weight across the U.S. I've got some ideas.
Okay, well, you got ideas, but yeah, I mean, I wish people would understand that when you demand that I look at politics the same way that you do, you're demanding that I assimilate. How do you not see that?
Yeah, it's a lot of pot calling the kettle black.
It is, but they just don't understand. It's a good thing if we all follow the same rules and live. You have a different culture. That's great. You celebrate your culture at your house and with your friends and all the rest of it. But the world's a little different out there, and if you can, kind of fit in, that'd be a good situation. One of the politicians in Minnesota, as a matter of fact, is saying, what's her name again? The young woman from the Middle East.
Ilhan
Omar. Yeah, there you go. Apparently she released a statement saying that her people are now going to do things the way they want to do it, and it's just how it is, and we're not going to assimilate. I mean, I just wish those people would listen to it. And it's not like I'm some genius. It's how the world really works. Assimilation is good for the world. It doesn't mean we have to kiss ass and you have to give up everything you do to act like me. That's not what I'm saying. Trying to get everything to fit into one culture is the way to go. You are who you are, I am who I am, but we can still all fit in together on a political culture in this country because people are making millions of dollars of us fighting over being Democrats, Republicans, and whatever other outfit you can come up with. It just would be so better if we would understand, instead of judging people and trying to harm them, why don't you be kind to them and assimilate? And how can they not see that?
That's a good question. All I know is I have a little work to do during the break because, I thought you wanted me to put out that you were a genius, so I got to cancel all these billboards now. So I got to make a few calls during our break.
That's it. We can put out billboards about who's a genius and who isn't.
Yes.
Is your picture going to be on it?
No. Mine's the furthest thing away from that. Are you kidding me?
No, it's not. It seems so simple. The hatred between the Democrats and the Republicans in this country now, and it goes both ways, does nothing to make this a better country. It serves to make you money. I understand you make a lot of money doing that, but it is not good for this country to tell people. You're telling people on national television every day to not get along with anyone unless you're in this specific party, either on the far left or the far right, and this is where you need to be. That is such bullshit. And I really wish people would stop believing their national news anchors. They're worthless, right?
Right.
All right, we got to take a break here. Be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Kristen Burt will join us right after this.
Jim Paul of Valley Buick GMC has a mutiny on his hands. His sales crew said they've had it brooming snow off the new Buicks and GMCs, then warm them up, move them to plow, and repark them again. He even overheard them cooking up an alternative plan. A sale.
This is crazy. Why don't we just mark them down and sell them?
This is getting real old to be out on that lot in this sub-zero weather.
That's right. Everyone we sell is one less to broom.
I heard we're supposed to get 6 more inches tomorrow.
I'm 5'6". How am I supposed to get the snow off the roof of a pickup?
I'm Jim Paul, and well, car dealers do have all kinds of crazy sales. This idea probably makes more sense than most. There's plenty of inventory, so okay, the crew has decided.
Now we're talking.
So then it's official. The We Don't Want to Broom Snow sale is in full force at Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley and Hastings. Snowy inventory priced real right at valleycardealers.com.
You need to know a guy for your auto repairs, legal issues, banking, and more. The same goes for investment advice. You need a guy to help you be successful, someone you can trust who gets results. Well, I got a guy for you, Josh Arnold. Josh gives you straight talk, not sugar-coated advice about your financial situation. Josh has seen it all when it comes to economic and market conditions, and Josh can make sure that your retirement objectives match your investments. Do yourself a favor and call Josh now for a no-obligation, 48-minute evaluation. You've got nothing to lose, and you'll get a different point of view for your investments. Call Josh at 952-925-5608. That is 952-925-5608. You'll be glad that you did. And tell him his guy, Tom, sent you.
Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC, a security investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice. Tom Barnard is a paid endorser.
Why should your business bank with North American Banking Company? Here's Landon and Gavin Miller of D&B Plating.
I've always been impressed with their speed of answers to our questions, and that has allowed us to expand and capitalize on opportunities in the market.
North American Banking Company has never made us feel like a number. They've always treated us as a partner.
For more information about North American Banking Company, go to nabanco.com or stop by any one of their Twin Cities locations. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
This is the Tom Barnard Podcast. Listen live weekday mornings, 8 to 9:30, or anytime you like as a podcast on the Tom Barnard app at tombarnardshow.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kristen Burt now joins us. Kristen Burt Entertainment News brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabanco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. All right. No, we've already laid out the rules. Are you going to assimilate to the rest of us on the show, or do we have to?
Oh my gosh, no political talk.
It wasn't political. It's not political at all.
Political.
It's getting along with other people.
I heard a Democrat word dropped. I heard a Republican word dropped.
No, but I'm saying they should come together, not separate. What's wrong with that?
We can talk politics in November.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Day, and that's it.
No, I'm just, I just think,
Inauguration Day 2025. That's it.
You big baby.
You big baby. Let's talk entertainment, my friend.
That's why we have such trouble in this world, because of people like you. That's what I'm saying. I will tell you something flat out. I don't know if you were the one that recommended it or what happened. It might have been Timmy Lammers too. That both of you, Griselda is spectacular. Oh, she goes, it was me.
I've been talking about that. I was like, watch Griselda. And I think just for me, watching Selma Hayek, watching. Why
Close
did I
enough.
call her Selma Hayek? It's not close enough at all.
Sofia Vergara, Selma Hayek. What's the difference?
Vergara, it's the S name. But watching Sofia Vergara, I think is just such a wonder because we've seen her so often in this highly comedic role on Modern Family for so many seasons. And to see her in this incredible role and really like dive into it. I mean, she really wanted to do this role. And, you know, she did the prosthetics and everything. She's fantastic.
She does an amazing job in that show. And just the sadness of what those people have to go through in Medellin, because it's just amazing because that business has gotten so huge. And the shocking thing, because I don't know anything about it, I don't do drugs or any of that stuff, so I don't know anything about it. But the snap of a finger, okay, here's what we'll do. I'll just supply you with 100 kilos of cocaine. I'm like, what? You can get all your hands.
No big deal.
Honest to God.
Well, and I think the way that they did the series too, where you have a female detective like telling everyone like, hey, there is a woman running this cartel. And they're like, nah, don't buy it. So I think that's a really fascinating parallel to the whole story. It's a true story. And just really well done. So highly recommend it. And like I said, I predicted an Emmy nomination for Sophia. We will have to wait until July, but we'll see how it plays out.
Only a 6-part series, right?
Yep. It's a limited series.
Yeah, so we're almost halfway through. I think we are halfway through it now, but she is terrific in it. Actually, everybody in it is really, really good. It's a great story.
It's a great story. I really think that this is going to open a lot of doors for Sophia. I'm really curious when other directors and screenwriters see her in this, because I think that they've only seen her as one thing, because she is a stunning woman. She's got a bombshell, smoking hot body. And I honestly think that that's how people view her. And I think that this has the opportunity to open many doors if she wants to do more drama.
No doubt. And I'll say it again, television has never been better. It's not even close anymore.
You know what's so interesting, though? Nielsen finally came out with all the ratings for streamings for 2023 and the top shows. What do you think the top show was for 2023? The one that everybody watched.
The top show for 2023.
On streaming, across all streaming.
Oh, my God. Was it Jude barking in the background?
It was. How did you know?
What? I don't even know what show that everybody watched.
We talked about it during the summer. So AJ, go ahead.
Succession?
No.
It's good.
Okay,
show.
I know that technically was
It's
like
it's starting with the right letter. S.
Give me the platform. How about that?
It was on 2 platforms. It was on Netflix and Peacock.
Oh, it's Stranger Things. No.
No, there was no Stranger Things last year. That was the #1 for 2022. So you're not wrong.
What else started with an S, Tevin?
I don't know. I can't think of any. It's like I've never watched a TV show.
You love this show. You love this show.
Oh, Suits. Yeah, of course.
That was the #1
It
show.
was the #1 show out of all new and old shows. Number 2. Are you ready for number 2?
Yeah, absolutely.
Bluey.
Well, Bluey makes sense. Little kids love Bluey. Man.
Number 3, NCIS. Number 4, Grey's Anatomy. Number 5, Coco Melon, another kid series. Number 6, The Big Bang Theory. Number 7, Gilmore Girls. Number 8, Friends. Number 9, Heartland. And number 10, Supernatural. What do they all share?
None of those are new.
Yes.
Yeah. They're not new shows.
The very first show that finally makes it onto the list, and it's pretty far down, is Ted Lasso as the first new show.
Really?
Wow.
Yes.
But these shows like Succession, that show is a phenomenal show.
Succession didn't even make it into the top 10 of all new shows. Like it was
Really?
the new shows. It was Ted Lasso, The Night Agent, Ginny and Georgia, Virgin River, Love is Blind, Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan, Gabby's Dollhouse, The Mandalorian, Outer Banks, and The Lincoln Lawyer.
So you have to be an idiot to vote?
No, this is Nielsen. These are the ratings. This has nothing to do with
That's what
anything.
I'm saying.
That's so
I mean,
neat, though.
isn't that wild? So what I'm saying here on it's like something like Succession is a critical hit, and it is an award show hit. It isn't a ratings hit.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I wonder. I mean, I guess there's a lot of like comfort shows that are older where you kind of know what you're getting. So I'm going to rewatch that again. Or a lot of people do I don't want to watch a show that's getting released one episode at a time. I'm going to wait till there's 2 seasons so I can just binge it.
Right.
Type of thing. So that might have something to do with it.
And remember, we talked about Sex and the City coming back to Netflix. I'm going to tell you, I bet it'll be in the top 10 next year. It's another kind of like comfort show for a lot of women. And I wouldn't be surprised to see it there. So it's what people are seeking out. I don't know if it's just like the current climate, the state of the world. People just want to go back to something that they're familiar with. A little bit of 2023 was probably affected by the strikes. Like, I wouldn't be surprised to see, well, Stranger Things, I don't think is coming until 2025. But when Stranger Things comes back, like that would be at the top of the list like it was in 2022. So just kind of interesting how things are in flux right now. But I thought that was fascinating.
So none of the Taylor Sheridan stuff is anywhere near the top.
Nope.
That amazes me. He's a damn good writer.
Propping up Paramount Plus. It's keeping that network running. But it's a very niche audience. His shows skew older. So it's probably a lot of the boomer generation, maybe older Gen X. Really? But it's not a huge hit with younger generations.
But it's like pretty close to true history.
I would say that like a lot of things that have like a Western feel to it or historical feel to it don't necessarily resonate with millennials per se, Gen Z.
Yeah,
even probably not. It's not for me as a Gen Xer, not really.
Yeah.
It's not a genre that I've really drawn to. So.
And is Paramount Plus like popular enough to get a show on one of these lists? Like, I feel like if you're ranking all the streaming services, that's one that you're just like, take it or leave it.
Yeah, I mean, in looking at all of this, out of the top 10 shows for 2023, Netflix has 6 out of the 10. Max has 1, 2. Disney Plus has 1. Paramount Plus, NCIS crosses over between Netflix and Paramount Plus, kind of like Suits where it's Netflix and Peacock. So I think it's just one of those situations, and it's probably why Paramount Plus is up for open for offers and everyone's looking to buy it.
Oh, really?
And by the end of the year, it's either going to fold into Warner Brothers or Skydance Productions.
Yeah.
So we will see where it winds up. But by the end of 2024, it's not going to be a solitary streaming network. So it'll be interesting to see where it lands.
Isn't that amazing? You look back now, this is before my time even, but as a prior generation, Paramount used to own movie theaters all around the United States. They owned everything. What happened?
I don't know. I mean, they even struggle at the box office. Like they'll be lucky to have like one great hit, but Mission Impossible this summer wasn't a great movie for them. They pushed it back to 2025 because they realized, you know what, we need to retool this a little bit and maybe give some people a little bit of Tom Cruise breathing room. He dominated with Top Gun, but Mission Impossible just wasn't it for them.
And the new Reacher's not doing as well as some of the other things?
Well, it didn't make it, let's see. Didn't make it onto this top 10 list.
God, I think it's a terrific show. Very, very well done. And actually, Jack Reacher, unlike in the Tom Cruise days, Jack Reacher is as big as he is in the books.
Yeah, it's interesting to see because you always just assume people are watching. You hear about, especially on social media, like what people watched over the weekend, what people are talking about, and a lot of these shows aren't on here. So it's interesting to see that the water cooler talk on social media is often very different from what people are watching over and over and over again when they're home in their living room. So they're really reaching for, I mean, last year was all about comfort, if you're asking me. I mean, Suits, Grey's Anatomy, Gilmore Girls, Friends, Supernatural. I mean, shows that ran years and years and years, but also years ago.
Years ago, yeah. That's amazing. Well, I guess it's a good thing. All right, we'll find out more. Oh, yeah.
I have one quick thing. Tonight, everyone should watch. It's on Netflix. It is the greatest night in pop. It is all about making We Are the World. So you will never, ever see a night in music ever like that. They couldn't do that now. They couldn't, after the American Music Awards, get every A-list musician in a room to record a song.
Right.
The documentary with Lionel Richie is fantastic, and a bunch of other musicians. Go watch it.
And where is it?
It's on Netflix.
It is on Netflix. Gee, what a shock. It's on Netflix.
What a shock. But it was a big hit at Sundance a couple weeks ago, and it's already landed at Netflix, so don't miss it.
I remember how impressed I was with that. When they released it, how they did it. It was very, very impressive. It really
We
was.
are the world.
I just like
children.
I like the clip of Michael Jackson staring at all the people
Yes.
that aren't as good as singers as he
Yes,
is.
it's true. That's very, very true, as a matter of
Well,
fact.
well, like Cyndi Lauper.
There's a good example. Yes, that's a good example.
But I love her. Hey, you know what? She's had an amazing career. She's an amazing Broadway. Kinky Boots has run for years on Broadway.
Girls just want to have fun. That's it.
Girls do want to have fun.
Absolutely.
We will talk to you tomorrow, sister.
All right. See you guys tomorrow.
Thank you very much, Kristen Burt. Entertainment news brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabanco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. We got to close out here, but what do you guys think of that? That the top shows now are from like 10 years ago. It's kind of weird, isn't it?
That's pretty telling as to like.
Yeah. Well, if you looked at my viewing, like if I'm trying to fall asleep and I just need to put something on, I'll put a show on that I've watched, a million times before, like Burn Notice or something dumb where I can just fall asleep. Yeah. So that makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't remember like the last like new show that I went out of my way to start. It just feels like such a big commitment at times where it's like, I'd rather just be, I can have something on that I know. Maybe I can scroll my phone and kind of keep up to date with like what's going on while not having to have like super attention paid to whatever I'm watching. So, I think that it makes sense, but still a little shocking that it was that big of a like list with nothing on it.
With nothing on it. That's exactly right. All right, pals, that's going to do it. We'll be back in about 10, 15 minutes with the Family Show.